Hello everyone, my name is Steven and welcome back to the Storytime channel. Without wasting any time, let's get into our stories of the day. Entitled Mother tries to get me to give my Easter basket to her kids. I live in an apartment complex with my boyfriend. I work overnight, so usually I'm asleep during most of the day. Yesterday, my boyfriend went out and bought stuff to make up an Easter basket for me. Something we did for each other last year but hadn't really talked about doing this year because of the pandemic. He set the basket up and left it in the passenger seat of my car for me to find when I went to work. This morning I got home around 7:30, and as I was walking through the parking lot, a couple of the neighbor kids were playing outside. I'm pretty sure they're brothers as I always see them together. And I passed them to go upstairs while carrying my basket. The basket itself is a pink wicker basket. It had a small pink stuffed bunny, a giant lollipop set, a chocolate bunny, and plenty of colored eggs in it. I had just taken a melatonin and put my sleep mask on to try and go to bed when I hear a knock at the door. My boyfriend is fast asleep, so I figure I might as well look through the peephole to see if it was an Amazon delivery or something. I peek through and see my neighbor from over the stairs, so I open it up. The two boys from earlier were by her door watching our conversation. "My boy said you had an Easter basket?" Yeah. "Okay, so give it to them." "I'm sorry?" "Give them the Easter basket. You're an adult, why do you even have one?" "I'm not going to give your boys my Easter basket." "Well, why not? Do you hate Jesus or something?" I stood there for a second with a confused look on my face before she snapped. "Give them the basket already." "Look, I've lived here almost a year. I see your kids all the time and I've never really interacted with them. But they seem like fine kids. Even if that is true though, I don't have to give them anything. Especially not something that was given to me as a gift. If they want Easter baskets and you want them to have Easter baskets, why don't you buy the supplies and make them up yourself? Why should I have to do that when there's one already made up here? Idiot, because it isn't yours? Well, I'm sure it'll get much better use if my boys have it rather than you. Hand it over or I'm going to call the police and tell them some girl from apartment number stole their basket. You might think it'll get more usage from your boys than it will from me, but it's all sweets that I'm going to eat to keep me awake during my 12-hour shift tonight. The one I need to go to sleep before if you would leave me be. Also, I still even have the basket I got from him last year, and I'll let you in on a secret. It holds all my sex toys. Happy Easter." After that, I closed the door in her face. I could hear her through the door give off one of those partial groan, partial screams, and she actually called the police on speaker right outside my door. So I called the non-emergency line and said if a woman called about someone from address stealing her kids' Easter baskets that she was delusional and told them what happened. Police still haven't shown up and now it's time for me to snooze. Happy Easter all. Yikes, I wouldn't even know what to say. If you're in an OP situation and this lady's yelling at you about all this stuff and bringing Jesus into it, what would you do or what would you say? Let me know what you would do in the comments below. Entitled parent tried to get me arrested at Walmart for being a bad employee. So I was at Walmart about 2 days ago because I was getting something from my dad. He's at high risk for this coronavirus going around. But I had just gotten new Power Beats as a present from my girlfriend because I had been looking at them for some time. I was heading down an aisle because I needed to get some deodorant. I don't want to smell like garbage during this whole lockdown thing. While I was walking down the aisle, I saw that some bottles of shampoo had been knocked over, and I decided to put them back so that way the employees could do more important stuff. Cue entitled mother. I was listening to my music while I was putting stuff back, so I didn't hear her call, or let alone notice her, up until she decided to yank my earbud out, which hurt a lot. Ow, hey, what's your deal, woman? Maybe you shouldn't have your headphones on while you're working a job where you have to interact with people. Sorry, but I don't work here. But you're stacking shampoo bottles, so you must work here. No, I'm just trying to help out. Now please leave me alone. I wasn't in a very good mood at the time. I put my earbud back in my ear and she proceeds to yank it out again. For being so ignorant, you have to help me with my groceries. I tell her no, use some colorful language that I don't want to repeat, and I walk away to go grab the rest of the things I needed. While I'm at the register scanning my items, I get a tap on the shoulder from a police officer. There's a police station just down the street from this Walmart, so they got there pretty quickly. Young man, did you assault this woman? I tell him the whole ordeal, and in true entitled mother fashion, says I was lying to get out of trouble. Her son, who looked about 16, showed up and told the cop to look at the cameras to see what happened. We all went and did just that. The officer apologized. Her son told her that he was going to move and live with his dad, and the officer gave her a fine for making a non-urgent 911 call. So, no crazy ending, I guess, but at least she was put in her place. Thank you for reading. Hope you all have a wonderful Easter, and please make sure that you and your relatives stay safe during this pandemic. What I don't understand is these people constantly calling the police in these stories when they very obviously were not assaulted in any way, or they didn't have anything stolen from them or whatever. It's obviously not going to work out for them. It's 2020. Everywhere has cameras. They're going to be able to see whatever happened. You need to stop making plans for your birthday because I have plans for your birthday. Another tale about my entitled father. This was a few days before my second to last birthday spent with his family. I left the following year. The whole family was in the supermarket getting some groceries, the usual stuff. Knowing full well that they wouldn't get me anything for my birthday and barely even acknowledge it, I decided that I was going to buy a small cake and a one-person bottle of green apple vodka, my favorite kind. I mentioned that these were going to be my birthday treats and that I had plans to just stay in my room and watch movies with them. He immediately starts to get huffy and starts hinting that I should not make any plans for my birthday at all. Upon questioning him, he refused to let me know exactly why that was. I knew full well that he wasn't the type to throw me any sort of surprise party, so I knew it wouldn't be that. Me and my paranoid self, I later realized that was more common sense than paranoia, kept wondering what he would be up to. He promised to pay for my driving lessons and he never did that. He promised to buy me a certain thing for a Christmas gift. He didn't do that. Why would I actually expect him to keep his word this time? My birthday comes and I emerge from my lair to go and make a sandwich or something for breakfast. After all, unlike the others, I don't get a fancy breakfast. So that was also something else I did not expect to get. When I turn the corner, him and the rest of the witches are all there with completely insincere smiles on their faces, cheering and shouting, "Happy birthday, OP!" It immediately puts me even more on edge than I normally am around them. What do they want from me? I feel no happiness at all from this pseudo display of happiness from them. My stepmother says they want to take me out to dinner that day and told me to choose a place. Hesitantly, I did, but the place was closed. So we ended up going to my second choice of place. I got to order what I wanted. Chose the cheapest thing because I was still weary of them, and mostly enjoyed it. They took pictures, we go home and present all as well. A few days later, I see pictures on his social media of the birthday dinner saying that he treated me on that day because of my essentially forced, unpaid, unappreciated care of my recently deceased entitled grandmother. She was another set of freakery altogether. I may post about her one day. Oh, okay then. Now I finally knew his real motives. He just wanted to look good and flex on his friends and the other family members, especially the ones he didn't really like. Of course. It's just so unfortunate to hear about these people in these relationships having to deal with these things. Your father going and using you just for a photo op? It's just disheartening to hear about. Entitled mother throws trash when I refuse to let her son ride in my car. Yesterday, I was asked to drive my car in a little Easter bunny parade that went past the homes of children in the community with disabilities. The point of this was to bring a little happiness without getting close, let alone touching. I wasn't there to give rides. We were very clear about this point. The car in question is my very loved 1979 Corvette C3 that my son and I have been taking pride in restoring. She's loud, fun, and very delicate in places due to age. The passenger side door does not lock at the moment and I had the T-tops off. Typical cast, typical acronyms. There are 5 cars in our little parade. I'm third, right in front of the truck with the guy in the bunny suit. We were going to drive past 7 homes in the community. Most were sitting outside enjoying the sunshine when we came by and waved, laughed at us. We'd stop for a minute and move on to the next address. It was fun. Until we pulled up to Karen's house and her 3 kids ran up to the bunny truck and tried to climb in the back. They were all screaming for candy, which we did not have. After several minutes of all of us yelling at Karen to get her kids, they backed up, making unhappy noises and complaining. I noticed a boy of about 11 to 12 looking at my car, and then he walked over. The entitled kid says, "Hey, I like your car." He puts his hands on the door. "Thank you. Do you remember what we just said? No getting close because people are sick." He didn't move. "I need you to move away from my car." He didn't. "I want a ride. Can I have a ride? My mom says no one is sick. I want a ride." He starts trying to get the door open, which isn't easy in that car as the mechanism needs work and you have to push in from the top and pull. He gets frustrated and kicks the door panel. "Hey, knock it off. Do not kick my car." He kicks the door again and starts whining that he's bored and wants a ride. "No way, I'm not giving you a ride." The kid tries yanking on the door again, then walks to his mother. He pulls her over to my car. "My son wants to ride with you. Open the door." "I don't want anyone riding my car, pandemic or not. Let alone a kid that just kicked my dang door. Move him away." "Stop being an idiot and just let him sit beside you for a minute. Not like I'm telling you to let him drive. He's not old enough yet." She tries the handle and the door clicks open. I grab the handle inside and slam it back closed. "Get away from my car. Do not open the door again." Entitled mother laughs. "Come here, entitled kid." She picks up a brat and tries to lift him into the car through the open tops. His feet walk up the door, but he doesn't make it in before his mom slips and they both fall backwards. Naturally, it's my fault that this happens. She gets herself up and starts screaming curses at me, which alerts the others, and her, I assume, husband who comes over. "Entitled mother, what are you doing?" "Sir, would you please get these 2 away from my car before they cause any damage? I do not want entitled kid to ride with me." Entitled mother says something I don't understand. "Entitled kid, go back to the house now." "What? He just wants a ride." She and her son finally walk away. "Sorry about that, ma'am." She gets an idea and she just can't let go of it. "It's okay as long as my car isn't damaged." He nods and walks off. This exchange only took about 5 minutes or so and we were all ready to leave for the next house. As I was pulling away, something fell into the seat beside me. An empty can. Entitled mother was digging poop out of her trash can and was throwing it at me. What the freak is wrong with people? I'm in agreement with OP. What the F is wrong with people? You're just gonna assume that everything's fine, that some adult during this pandemic is gonna let some kid just ride into their Corvette? That's not how anything works. Nothing works like that. Assuming your kid, deserves everything because they're a child or something. I'm glad the husband was able to corral them all back in. But with that being said, that's all the stories we have for today. So what I want to know now from you guys is which of these stories was your personal favorite of the day and why? Let me know which of these stories that I read today piqued your interest the most in the comments below. And thank you all so much for watching and listening to the Storytime channel. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the Storytime channel. And don't forget to turn the notifications on so you'll never miss when we upload another video to the Storytime channel. Thank you all again so very much for watching and listening.